All right, guys, welcome back to the next video in our series of the fundamentals of weight loss. This again is Coach Aaron Anderson with the 5 components of fitness, and today this is alpha method component number 1, proper food intake. Now, as you can see my screen, over the course of this video, I'm going to explain exactly how food intake and weight loss tie together without obviously the obvious reasons that we've all heard. But I'm going to show you scientifically why food intake is so very important when it comes to seeing the results that you want to see as far as your weight loss or your fitness goals are concerned. This works for everything in terms of fitness. If you want to gain muscle, if you want to lose body fat, if you want to lean up, whatever it is that you want to do, increase your athletic performance, nutrition, or how you feel your body is 75 to 90% of your results. And I cannot stress that enough. Your results, again, are proper food intake. So 75 to 90% of your results are based on proper food intake. Now, really what it comes down to in the simplest form of this is math. Weight loss and math are very, very synergistic. The reason being is because calories are how we measure energy. Calories equal how we measure energy. There we go, that looks a little better. So, calories are what we agree they are. They are a form of measurement. They are not real. Calories are made up. They are scientifically made up. So calories measure energy coming into the body and energy leaving the body. So as an example, let's say to backtrack, if we want to lose weight, you need to burn more calories than what you consume. Period. If you want to lose weight, you need to burn more calories than what you consume. If you want to gain weight / muscle, you need to consume more calories than you burn. So it's simple. The law of thermodynamics is energy in versus energy out. If I want to lose weight, I need to burn more calories than what I consume. If I want to gain weight, I need to consume more calories than I burn. So as an example, let's say this person is consuming 1,000 calories a day and they burn 1,200 calories a day. This person will consistently, slowly, I almost said slowly. That's not even a word. Slowly will lose body fat and lose weight over the course of time. This person consumes 1,000 calories a day. This person burns 1,200 calories a day. They will be in a 200 calorie deficit on a daily basis. So which means those 200 calories have to come from somewhere to burn them. If we're burning 200 extra calories than we're consuming, where are those calories coming from? Well, they're coming from stored energy in our body. Stored energy equals fat. Pretty simple. Stored energy equals fat. So those 200 calories are coming from, by this logic, coming from fat. But that is kind of a trick because losing weight and gaining weight isn't just as simple as burning less calories or gaining or consuming more calories. The law of thermodynamics, like we talked about, energy in versus energy out, determines our body weight going up or going down. But the issue is our body is made up of more than just body fat. We have also muscles, we have bones, we have blood, water, we have organs, we have all kinds of different things that make up the human body. So, us using 200 calories from our body doesn't always come from stored energy. But I'm going to teach you how we can make it be that way most of the time. And that comes down to your macronutrients. Did you see that zero disappear? That was crazy. Or that O disappear? Nutrients. Did I get that right? Yes, I did. Spelling genius. Just kidding. So macronutrients equals proteins, carbs, and not farts, oh my gosh, fats. There you go. Protein, carbs, and fats are your macronutrients. These are what determine the type of weight you lose. Kind of crazy, huh? So your macronutrients are going to determine your macronutrient breakdowns. So what that means, just to kind of put it in layman's terms, your diet, all foods are made up of these three macronutrients: proteins, carbs, and fats. Each do something different to our body when we digest them. So I'm not going to get into all that necessarily here, but what I am going to get into is how it determines our fat loss. So as an example, when we're eating a balanced diet of proteins, carbs, and fats, typically balanced diets, they consider 60% carbohydrates. This is like an average diet that they recommend, okay? But it doesn't render results, is what I'm saying, but this is what they recommend. So 20% fat and 20% protein, okay? As you can see, 60% carbs, 20% fats, 20% proteins. That's what they call a balanced diet. Oops. Diet. There we go. Balanced diet. Now, if somebody's eating a balanced diet like this and they're creating a caloric deficit on a daily basis, the likelihood of them losing weight is very good. They just have to manage that. But, of course, it's very difficult to gain lean body mass when we are in a calorie-restricted diet and our protein is minimal. So, somebody like this, they're going to lose weight. They're going to see results, but they might not lose the weight that they desire, and they also may not retain those results because they're not doing things to maintain their current lean body mass. Because when you think about our body uses fuel sources. Okay? Number one, we use three different fuel sources. Number one is fat, stored energy. The second fuel source our body uses is glucose. There's no way. Oh, glycose. Good Lord. Glucose. Is that right? Hang on. Glucose. Sweet, it is right. Awesome. There we go. I'm doing better at spelling already. Glucose is quick energy. And then finally, muscle mass can be our third energy source, but we don't want that. If we use muscle for fuel, that's bad. Because whenever we use fuel, what happens? It goes away. Just like gasoline. You run out of gas eventually in your car, you have to refill it. You have to refuel your car. Just like you have to refuel your body. But if you're not refueling your body properly, guess what happens? Your body's like, you know what? I can't maintain this amount of muscle mass. We're going to start to get rid of it so we can go down to a better manageable spot. And eventually our body starts using mass for fuel. But the problem with using muscle mass as fuel is our muscle mass really determines our metabolism in a lot of ways. The more muscle mass you have in your body frame, the more calories you're going to burn at rest. Muscle equals calories burn at rest. Okay? So, as an example, a long time ago, we used to use the rule of thumb that each pound of muscle burns about 50 calories a day. Now, that isn't scientifically fully accurate. However, it does give us a good rule of thumb when we are designing certain nutrition programs. Because let's say, for example, you have 30 pounds of muscle mass of muscle on your body, okay? If you have 30 pounds of muscle on your body, if we use the math of 30 pounds of muscle multiply it by 50, 50 calories burned per day, equals 1,500 calories burned. Okay? So as just a simple rule of thumb, let's say this person is burning, or let's say this person has 30 pounds of muscle mass on their body frame. They are burning 50 calories a day per pound of muscle. This person, 30 times 50 equals 1,500 calories burned per day. So we know at rest, this person's burning 1,500 calories a day by doing nothing at all. Now, like we talked about, if this person loses muscle mass, okay, and this is how a lot of yo-yos happen, a lot of yo-yo dieting. What happens is people eat a super calorie restricted diet. They don't exercise to maintain their muscle mass. They eat a low amount of protein and they're in a calorie restricted diet. So they lose muscle mass when they diet. Okay? They lose a bunch of weight. They're super happy. But what happens is during that process, they actually crash their metabolism. Let's say, for example, this person burns. Let's say I burn, I lose 3 pounds of muscle mass, okay? Burns 3 pounds of muscle. Oops, oh my gosh, I just messed it all up. There we go. 3 pounds of muscle, burns 3 pounds of muscle. Now we're burning 150 calories less per day that we were burning before we lost all that weight. So what happens is people stop dieting. They go back to the way they were eating. Now they're burning less calories than they were before they started their diet. So they gain back all their weight and, in fact, more weight because their metabolism crashed. So we don't want to do that. So we want to maintain results and, in fact, keep those for as long as possible. So that being said, we need to have a much more balanced diet than just that. Okay? So people ask me, Aaron, how do we determine what percentages of proteins, carbs, and fats we should be taking? Because earlier in this process, like I said, if I can find it, this is a typical balanced diet, but in my opinion and in scientific opinion, it's not enough protein for us to really increase our muscle mass and, in fact, preserve muscle mass. I'm going to scratch that out, okay? We're not going to follow the recommended balanced diet. So how do we determine this? How do we determine what a balanced diet is for certain individuals? It really comes down to body types, okay? Types. There are 3 different body types. Oh my gosh, I cannot type today. Sorry, folks. 3 different body types. There is endomorph. There is ectomorph. Is that right? Yep. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we got that right. And number 3, mesomorph. Okay? So these are the 3 body types that we determine, and we will figure out which body type you have, because that's going to determine your breakdowns of proteins, carbs, and fats. But why is that? It has everything to do with insulin sensitivity. So endomorphs have a high sensitivity to insulin. Okay? I am an endomorph body type. These types have a hard time losing fat. Endomorphs have a hard time losing fat. Reason why is because we have a very high sensitivity to insulin. When insulin is present in the bloodstream, it puts fat burning on the back burner in our body. Okay? Our bodies do not like to have high levels of insulin in the blood and lose fat at the same time. It just doesn't work. Our body resists that. So, us endomorphs, what are some things? So we know this is the problem. Okay, we know I have a high sensitivity to insulin. I also know I have a hard time losing fat because of this. So, as a result, I need to eat a diet that lessens insulin from releasing from my pancreas, okay? So because I'm endomorph body type, high sensitivity to insulin, hard time losing fat. So what I'm going to do, what increases our insulin in our bloodstream? are carbs, okay? Whenever we eat carbohydrates, they turn into sugar. And then, of course, when our blood sugar is higher, insulin gets released from the pancreas. And then we regulate that blood sugar. But the problem is, like I said, fat burning is on the back burner. So our body, as an endomorph, we should be eating less carbohydrates, okay? Less high glycemic index carbohydrates. So there's a glycemic index for diabetics. For every single carbohydrate, they have a certain glycemic index to it. I don't know if that's right, but you get the idea. Glycemic index. Examples of high glycemic index carbohydrates are pure sugar. Cannot type today, folks. Pure sugar. Candy. Mountain Dew or other sodas. Let's see, white flour. So as you get an idea, okay? So these are an example of high glycemic index carbohydrates, okay? They have a high glycemic index to them, meaning those sugars digest very quickly in our body. So it very quickly hits the bloodstream. So it very quickly releases insulin from the pancreas and very easily gives us a high insulin spike. So us endomorph body types, if we eat these things, unfortunately, fat loss is much harder for us. It's just the way it is. So these types of individuals, we put them on a lower glycemic index for their carbohydrates. Examples of low glycemic index, okay? Low glycemic index carbohydrates, sweet potato, brown rice, veggies, some fruits like berries and grapefruit, some fruits, veggies, brown rice, sweet potatoes, some like kashi cereal is another example. Ezekiel bread or sprouted grain bread. So those are examples of low glycemic index carbohydrates. Protein pasta is another one. So we can still consume carbohydrates. I don't recommend anybody completely remove carbohydrates from their diet. But as an endomorph, we need to be sure that our carbohydrates are coming from low glycemic index carb sources, such as sweet potatoes, brown rice, veggies, things like this, because these digest very slowly in our body. So insulin is regulated better. It doesn't have to give you a huge insulin spike. So fat burning is not constantly put on the back burner. Okay? So, like we talked about, endomorph. Here's the breakdowns of what we give endomorphs, okay? We do 30% fats, 30% carbs, and 40% protein, okay? That is the breakdown of somebody that is an endomorph body type, somebody that has a hard time losing body fat. 30% of your diet should be made up of fats, 30% of your diet should be made up of carbohydrates, and 40% of your diet should be made up of proteins. Now, how we find out the amount of carb or calories that you need to have on a daily basis for you to maintain your current muscle mass, okay? Because like we talked about, let's say, for example, you are burning 30 pounds of muscle, or you have 30 pounds of muscle in your body frame, multiplied by 50 calories a day. You're burning 1,500 calories a day at rest. If you're not getting at least that many calories in per day, okay, your body will naturally start getting rid of muscle mass because you're not fueling your body enough to maintain that. Okay, so naturally our body is going to say, you know what, I don't need all this muscle. We're not feeding it. It's sitting here. It's really taking up a lot of energy. It's why you're probably pretty tired. You're not fueling yourself, so you know what, we're going to start getting rid of some muscle so that way we can regulate what we're currently getting every single day for calories and nutrients. So, and also, like I said, having the higher percentage of proteins helps that. So this person needs to get at least 1,500 calories in per day to maintain their current muscle mass. So you probably ask, Aaron, why that I heard that we need to be in a deficit, and you're telling me to eat exactly the same amount of calories that I'm using for fueling my muscle mass. Well, again, like I talked about before, that's why these other components come in and are very, very important. Because on days we're exercising, we're going to be burning far more than this amount of calories, okay? So we want to only put ourselves into a caloric deficit of 500 calories to 1,000 calories per day, and no more than that, because then we're also at risk of losing muscle again by just burning too many calories in a day. Our body doesn't have any other method to fuel itself. So, like I said, that's endomorph. Now when we look at these next two, ectomorph and mesomorph, just to give you an idea, an ectomorph, because we typically deal with mostly endomorph body types because those are the ones that have the hardest time with fat loss. Ectomorph body type, this is somebody that has a hard time gaining weight. Okay? So if a person has a really hard time gaining weight, they're an ectomorph body type. They're usually tall, long, lanky. Usually have a hard time. They look rail thin sometimes. Can't gain weight to save their life. Somebody like that, we kind of flip this whole thing on their head. We need to have more of a balanced diet, more carbohydrates, because again, when carbohydrates are present in the bloodstream, it allows us to gain a little bit more weight. Present insulin is super anabolic. Okay? Insulin is one of the most anabolic things that are in the world. Anabolics help us build muscle mass. So, for ectomorphs, we actually need to increase those carbohydrates. We need to have simple sugars post-workout. We need to do a lot of things to help gain muscle mass on our body frame. And of course, as the person gains more muscle mass, their calorie intake needs to go up, because if we put 5 pounds of muscle mass onto somebody, their calorie burn is going to go up 250 calories a day, which means in order to maintain that newfound muscle mass, those calories that they're consuming also need to go up. Okay? But we're still able to create a caloric deficit through diet, through exercising, and we're still putting ourselves in a deficit, which I'll show you over the course of these next videos and how that all works. But not to worry, we're just talking about the food intake part of this whole thing. But this is also how people maintain the results. Because if you can increase your lean body mass to a point of sustainability, where you're able to sustain that lean body mass, it'll naturally help you burn body fat. Okay? 1 pound of body fat, which I should have mentioned at the beginning of this whole thing, probably put it at the top. 1 pound of body fat equals, you might have heard this before, 3,500 calories of stored energy. 1 pound of body fat equals 3,500 calories. Oh my gosh, there's an E in here. See, words like, you're so bad at spelling, we're just going to stop doing spell check for you. So 1 pound of body fat equals 3,500 calories of stored energy. So we need to burn above and beyond 3,500 calories than what we're consuming, okay, in order to lose that. But we break it down to the ridiculous. Let's say we take 3,500 calories divided by 7 days in the week. That equals only a 500 calorie deficit on a daily basis, which is why we can accurately predict when somebody will lose the weight that they desire by an estimated time because of this math. If a person, by math, is losing about 1 pound of body fat per week, okay, lose up to 4 pounds a month. That's modest, of course. You can lose up to 2 pounds of body fat per week, but just for simplicity's sake, if I want to be at a 500 calorie deficit every single day, let's say I'm consuming 2,500 calories a day, I need to burn 3,000 calories a day. So eat, and I'm not giving this as a recommendation. This is just for simple math's sake. Okay? Getting too excited. If I eat 2,500 calories a day and I burn 3,000 calories a day, put myself into a 500 calorie deficit a day, by math, I will lose a pound of body fat per week. Very simple. It's simple math. Now, finally, the last body type is mesomorph. And I don't really hit on this a lot because mesomorphs, you guys suck. You guys always look great, have no problems with food intake. You can lose and gain weight as you please because your body is neutral. Your body should have a neutral diet. Mesomorph body types are very, very easy to work with, very, very easily to train. You guys see amazing results very, very fast, very quickly. And bless your heart if you have a mesomorph body type. You are a very rare person, but congratulations, you won the lottery in terms of health and fitness. So, mesomorph body types, you guys rock. Keep working hard or doing what you do. So, at the end of the day, here's our takeaways for this. Takeaways. We need to be in a deficit. Calorie deficit. Calorie deficit. Which means we're burning more calories than we're consuming. I cannot stress that enough. Calorie deficit of 500 to 1,000 calories per day. Okay? Next takeaway is finding out your breakdowns of proteins, carbs, and fats. God, I did it again. Farts and fats. When I don't look at the keyboard when I type, I know where the keys are, but I've got kind of fat fingers, so I end up touching all these things, and the R and the T are right next to each other. Actually, I did type it on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, calorie deficit 500 to 1,000 calories a day. Breakdowns of proteins, carbs, and fats. Making sure that we're getting enough fuel, enough food to maintain current metabolism. Yeah, and that's really it. That's really what it comes down to, guys. It's very simple. Now, how do we do this without knowing how many calories they were consuming? So I'm going to give you a recommendation. And this is a must for every single person that wants to see results in fitness. I'm about to give you the number one tip that literally will change everything. Track everything. Track everything. Again. Jeez, come on now. It's supposed to be on a new page. Track everything. Track your caloric intake. Track your macronutrients. You can do it very easy with myfitnesspal app. It's free. They do have a option of like a charged option, but I don't recommend it. Just do the MyFitnessPal app for free. You go on there. It's very, very simple, and I have a tutorial on how to use MyFitnessPal here on the YouTube channel. You just go to Alpha Fitness Coaching on YouTube, and it's right on there in the list of videos, the MyFitnessPal tutorial on how to use it, how to set it up. But like I said, MyFitnessPal app, you need to track your calories in and your calories out. Okay? Calories in is very easy to track on there. Calories out is a little bit more difficult. That's why they make Fitbits. That's why they make the Apple Watch. That's why they make the Samsung Watch. All these watches can track your caloric expenditure. It literally takes away the guesswork for you. If you're tracking your food and you're tracking your caloric expenditure, literally tells you exactly how to lose weight. Like if my watch today tells me I burned 3,800 calories, I know I need to be in a 500 calorie deficit. I know I can safely consume 3,300 calories. I'm still covering the amount of calories I need to maintain muscle mass. I'm still in a caloric deficit. It's the perfect scenario. That's when results happen. That's when the best results happen, is when you have the perfect storm of tracking, energy in, energy out. You can literally predict when you're going to see the results you want to see based on that. It's so simple. It's so easy. I can tell somebody, if I follow the plan to a T, if I track everything, I can tell somebody the exact date on when I'm going to see my results. It's that Easy. It's that simple, but so many people complicate it. Okay? Track your food. That's it. It really comes down to that, because then when you track your food, you know what adjustments you need to make. Plus, it creates an awareness for you. Oftentimes, people think, oh, I only eat, I eat healthy. I don't eat a lot. Well, sometimes they forget those lattes that they put in there. Each latte might be worth 200 calories. Say I have 2 coffees with creamer each day. Well, I'm consuming an extra 500 calories a day that I was not tracking. Boom. That's a pound of body fat right there. You can remove coffee from your diet. Like, I'm not recommending removing coffee, but like, track it at least. Take it into consideration. You need to track everything that has a calorie. And MyFitnessPal does it so well. And it's so simple. You can literally just scan a barcode and it will populate the food from that box. It'll populate all the information in that you need. Or you can look up, let's say you go to Chipotle. You can literally look up Chipotle. It'll tell you everything you need. Plug in the food item you got. Bam, it's already in there. Accounted for. I'll leave you with this. Tracking your calories should be as important to you as tracking your bank account. Okay? Tracking your calories should be as important as tracking your bank account. Because with both, you have a budget. You have a daily budget. If you go over your daily budget, you will overdraft. In the banking world, if you overdraft, you get a penalty. They charge you a fee. In the fitness world, if you overdraft, you get fatter. You gain more weight. And like I say, do you look at your bank account every single day so you don't overdraft? Absolutely. I do. I look at my bank account probably twice a day to make sure that nothing came out that I didn't know about. To make sure that I have enough money in there to cover what I have. Like if you are an average person that probably lives paycheck to paycheck, which a lot of people do, then you need to track that. Just like your calorie intake. You need to track that because you have a budget. If you go over your budget, which is very easy to do if you do not have an awareness of it, trust me, like I've gone for months without tracking a single food item because I thought that I was fine. I thought that I was better. And then when I should have lost 20 pounds, I only lost 5. Or I have clients that say they track their food and then find out a month later or 2 months later that they were just putting in random things just to appease their fitness professional, appease their trainer. It does nothing to help them. Track your food. Cannot stress it enough. And that's it. That is the first component of fitness. It is fundamentals of weight loss, proper food intake. Next video is proper cardiovascular exercise, not as long, and we will dive into that on the next video. Thanks again for watching. Talk to you soon.